Hey, good evening, everyone. It's meteorologist Terry Swails. You're on tswails.com. I'm in the home studio tonight, and this is a special briefing on what appears to be another active period of weather for the Midwest, starting late this week, continuing into the weekend, and then into probably the first part of next week as well. So that'll take us pretty close to the upcoming 4th of July holiday. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. And first of all, I wanted to show you what the jet stream is expected to look like as we get out towards Saturday. We're 5 days out, and look at the energy that's digging into the western United States. A big old trough expected to develop over the Rockies. And ahead of that, you can see the southwesterly flow that's going to be pumping warm, humid air into the Midwest. So we're going to get back into the muggies around here, and that will eventually set up the stage for some showers and thunderstorms to be active not only late this week, but probably into the early portions of next week. And with repeated rounds of heavy showers and storms over the upper Midwest, the threat is once again going to be there for some severe weather and some locally heavy rainfall. And with many area rivers and streams running quite high, that is a situation that needs to be watched closely in the next few days. Now here's the first thing we can show you, and this is the temperature anomaly. And here we are as we get towards Saturday and Sunday, and look at the warmth that's returning to the upper Midwest and extends right on down into the Gulf of Mexico. That's due to that southwest flow in the jet stream that we talked about. Here's something else that you're going to start noticing again as we get towards the late week period. That is the higher humidity levels. And our dew points are expected to eventually reach the mid and upper 70s by later on this weekend and into next week. So when you toss in the temperatures, that'll be climbing well into the upper 80s and dew points into the mid or upper 70s. That creates a lot of instability. And these are the capes that are shown on the European model as we get towards Tuesday of next week. And boy, I'll tell you, if this is realized, there is a lot of instability that extends all the way from the southern Great Lakes right back across Iowa and into eastern Nebraska, and that's a zone that looks like it could be locked in for a few days. So severe weather and locally heavy rainfall will something that certainly needs to be watched out for in that type of pattern if it does develop. Here is also the 10-day rainfall off the European model, and you can see there is a big axis of hefty rainfall that extends all across northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, back into much of northern Iowa, Nebraska. Some of these places have already been drenched with tremendous amounts of rainfall, and if this model is right, there could certainly be 2 to 4 more inches of rain in the next 10 days, maybe as much as 5. And really with this type of pattern, if you get any sort of training going on, the moisture levels are so high that some of these amounts could be much higher than 4 or 5 inches in some local spots. But until you actually see the whole situation unfold and know the exact axis of the storms, it is difficult to say where that axis for heavy rainfall will be. But I can tell you somebody's probably going to be under the gun for some substantial amounts of rain in the next 5 to 7 days. And once again, a tighter view of the state of Iowa. And notice where the heavier rainfall is found, running across southern Wisconsin through northern Iowa and back into South Dakota. Amounts there in that 3 to 4 inch range. And that's the region that's just been pelted with heavy precipitation here in the past, 2 to 3 weeks. So it would not take much to generate some additional flooding, flash flooding, that type of situation. And so the whole idea of this forecast is to just give you a heads up that the pattern is going to turn active once again, and the threat is there for some more severe weather and potentially some locally heavy rains and flooding as we go into the weekend and into the early portions of next week. So that's a little quick weather briefing on this particular situation. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow with more forecast specifics on what's coming up here as we go through the rest of this week. You're on tswails.com. Thanks for visiting, and as always, roll weather.